We are being filmed watching television. That people might watch us watching television on their own television sets at home.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 The Crown episodes to rewatch.
Asked for my recommendations, ma'am. I'm respectfully passing them on.
For this list, we'll be looking at the best, most noteworthy episodes of this hit Netflix drama series that are worth revisiting and carry the greatest significance in light of Queen Elizabeth II's passing. Major plot details will be discussed, so a spoiler alert is now in effect. What episodes of The Crown do you like to rewatch? Let us know in the comments below. Number 10. War. If there's any one truth depicted on The Crown, it's that the expectations placed on the royal family can be insurmountably high. Perhaps it was fitting then for the season 4 finale to shine a light on those who defied those expectations in every way.
The way you dealt with all your stuffy, rather patronizing, grey-haired men throughout your time in office, and saw them all off.
Well, they've had their revenge now.
On one hand, Margaret Thatcher is granted a surprisingly graceful exit after resigning as Prime Minister and resolving her differences with the Queen. On the other hand, Princess Diana's woeful marriage to Prince Charles reaches an explosive crescendo.
I refuse to be blamed any longer for this grotesque misalliance! I wash my hands of it!
As the couple are both given stern talking tos, things are made all the more intriguing. The episode gives fans enough to hold on to, while leaving them curious to see the final stages of this relationship play out moving forward.
If this family can't give me the love and security that I feel I deserve, then I believe I have no option but to break away, officially, and find it myself.
I wouldn't do that if I were
Why
you.
not?
Let's just say, I can't see it ending well for you.
Number 9. Scientia potentia est. Elizabeth becomes one of the most influential people in the world upon assuming the throne. But this episode from the show's first season demonstrates that even a queen can struggle in a world primarily governed by men.
You received an entirely appropriate education for a woman of your background.
Which has entirely failed to prepare me for the life I lead now.
We taught you how to be a lady, a princess. What do you want, a degree?
Recognizing that her lack of a formal education has left her at a disadvantage, the monarch begins lessons with a tutor. It's one of Claire Foy's finest outings as the younger Elizabeth, which is saying something.
You have the only education that matters.
So what would you have me do?
Summon them and give them a good dressing down like children.
The character embraces knowledge and stands up to her mother, Lord Salisbury, and even Prime Minister Winston Churchill. It is oh so satisfying to see the Queen finally set the tone for her reign.
I would ask you to consider your response in light of the respect that my rank and my office deserve, not that which my age and gender might suggest.
Number 8. Favorites. The series' central focus has always been Elizabeth's duties as queen, but this enlightening and, at times, amusing Season 4 episode spotlights her role as a mother.
Any honest parent would admit to having a favorite.
Who's our favorite?
My favorite or your favorite?
Is it different?
I'd say so, yes.
Feeling inspired by her husband Prince Philip and Margaret Thatcher, Elizabeth meets one-on-one with each of her 4 children to determine if she has a favorite. She's surprised by how little she actually knows about them, and it's both humorous and a little sad watching as she struggles to connect with her kids. The conclusion she reaches may leave you feeling a bit bewildered.
It's our children that are lost, not the Prime Minister's. Each in their own deserts.
In a world where the crown must win, it's clear that Elizabeth's adherence to tradition has affected all of her children in different ways.
I spoke to Mummy about it.
Yeah. The Oracle. What did she say?
Well, she said that I must not blame myself. I'm already mother to the nation.
Number 7. Tuasog Camere. The Season 2 episode Paterfamilias gave viewers a taste of a young Charles coming of age at a cruel boarding school. But Elizabeth's heir apparent really came into his own after Josh O'Connor stepped into the role in Season 3.
Mae gan Gymru ei hunaniaeth ei hun, ei hanian ei hun, ei hewyllis ei hun, ei llais ei hun.
The show has never shied away from exploring the complexity of this mother-son relationship. This episode, in which Charles heads to Wales to prepare for his investiture as the country's prince, is proof of that.
Pay us the respect
and give us just the slightest impression that you care about any of this before you turn around again and never show up like the last Prince of Wales and the one before him.
Learning a new language and embracing a new culture opens the young royal's eyes to how dissatisfied the Welsh are with the monarchy. Despite everything, Charles is humanized here, especially after making a defiant speech that results in a crushing response from his mother.
I have a voice.
Let me let you into a secret. No one wants to hear it.
Number 6. Marionettes. In more ways than one, the members of the royal family aren't exactly like everyone else. This notion is explored to great effect at the Season 2 midpoint.
We understand that in the turbulence of this anxious and active world, many of you are leading uneventful, lonely lives, where dreariness is the enemy.
After Elizabeth delivers a patronizing speech at a car factory, her lavish, out-of-touch lifestyle becomes the subject of criticism by the passionate Lord Altrincham. This episode shows just how at odds the Windsors' old-fashioned sense of governing is with England's modernizing post-war landscape.
Britain has changed beyond recognition, and yet the monarchy continues its pre-war routines as though nothing has happened. I believe it would serve the Queen and her courtiers well to remember that until recently, monarchies were the rule, and republics the exception.
Through Altrincham, we see an examination of the Queen's reign through a much wider lens than the series sometimes offers. It acts as a true turning point for a family that still has much to learn about the subjects they rule over.
All to open things up. Yes, bring us more in line with the real world. Democratize us.
Number 5. Assassins. The Crown opened its inaugural season with Elizabeth and Philip's wedding, so it was only a matter of time before the series would shine a light on the pair's complicated romance. As Philip begins to distance himself, Elizabeth seeks comfort in Lord Porchy Porchester, a confidant who also happens to be her racehorse advisor. It makes for a tumultuous storyline, to say the least.
The only person I have ever loved is you. And can you honestly look me in the eye and say the same?
But what truly sells this episode as one of the show's finest is its portrayal of Winston Churchill's last days as Prime Minister. John Lithgow gives it his all as Churchill reckons with his mortality during his 80th birthday celebration.
It is cruel!
Age is cruel! If you see decay, it's because there's decay. If you see frailty, it's because there's frailty.
Thankfully, he's given a moving send-off courtesy of the Queen in one of the show's most bittersweet moments.
You really have been the most remarkable servant to your country.
Thank you, ma'am.
No, Winston. On behalf of us all, thank you.
Number 4. Hyde Park Corner. Viewers would ultimately have to wait to see Elizabeth's coronation in Smoke and Mirrors, the series' 5th episode. But Hyde Park Corner is where her path to the throne truly begins.
Should I say something?
No, that won't be necessary. Though it would help if we could decide here and now on your name.
My name?
Yes, ma'am. Your regnal name.
As she and Philip tour the Commonwealth, her father, King George VI, passes away after struggling with his health for a long while. In a flash, the 25-year-old Elizabeth's life as she knew it is forever changed, and her fear of the unknown is palpable.
And while you mourn your father, you must also mourn someone else. Elizabeth Mountbatten. For she has now been replaced by another person, Elizabeth Regina.
This episode gives viewers a chance to learn about her earliest days as queen. It was a time when no one knew what lay ahead for the monarchy, least of all Elizabeth herself.
This new Elizabethan age comes at a time when mankind stands uncertainly poised.
Wait.
On the edge of catastrophe.
Number 3. Fagin. The truth is often stranger than fiction, and few episodes of The Crown prove that better than this one.
Either way, you're trespassing.
Which isn't a crime. Not if I don't steal anything.
You stole a bottle of wine last time.
Only to work up the courage to speak to you.
We wouldn't blame you for not knowing Michael Fagin's break-in at Buckingham Palace actually happened. This episode envisions a fascinating scenario of what the Queen could have discussed with the unwelcome intruder after he entered her bedroom.
Well, the state can help with all of this.
What state? The state has gone. She's dismantled it, along with all the other things we thought we could depend on growing up.
Their fictionalized conversation alters one of Great Britain's biggest security scandals into a thought-provoking and meaningful exchange regarding the government's refusal to help its people. Olivia Colman does some of her best work here, for Elizabeth is nothing if not a queen who wants to do right by her country.
I shall bear in mind what you've said.
Number 2. Aberfan. In 1966, a rain-induced landslide struck the Welsh mining town of Aberfan, claiming the lives of many people, children included. This chapter in British history serves as the basis for one of the Crown's most heart-stopping episodes.
It was unimaginably awful. Miners, used to digging for coal, now digging to reach their children.
The show's depiction of the incident is absolutely devastating, but we largely deal with Elizabeth's delayed response to the disaster. Public outcry abounds when the Queen waits to visit the town and offer support to the victims' families.
The people of Aberfan deserved a prompt response. They didn't get one. They deserved a display of compassion, of empathy from their Queen.
Here, she's forced to question when she must stop acting like a steadfast ruler and start acting like a person with feelings she's not often allowed to express. Needless to say, it makes for a truly compelling viewing experience.
The Duke of Edinburgh said the family sung a hymn when they buried their children.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there any way I might hear it?
Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions. Fairy Tale. The story behind The Wedding of the Century is sordid.
Our faith sees the wedding day not as the place of arrival, but the place where the adventure really begins.
Bubbykins. Princess Alice's arrival sheds new light on the royal family.
We should start from the very beginning.
I'm ancient. We could be here a long time.
And I have all the time in the world.
Dear Mrs. Kennedy. It's always a treat for American viewers to see portrayals of U.S. historical figures.
I feel like that went wrong in about 10,000 different ways.
I've seen worse, but I'm not sure when. Just drink.
Please.
Olding. Olivia Colman left an instant impression on fans during the season 3 premiere.
Just the tiniest changes in the hair.
A great many changes. But there we are.
Gloriana. The captivating season 1 finale features a shocking betrayal.
Will you forgive me if you deny me the man I love? If I put duty before family? Would you forgive anyone who denied you, Philip? It doesn't compare.
Well, it compares exactly.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Vergangenheit. Elizabeth's Uncle David's appearances on The Crown typically carry elements of the scandals that engulfed his life. The Season 1 episode Windsor, for instance, details his controversial decision to abdicate the throne in order to tie the knot with an American divorcee. This Season 2 outing provided viewers with a much more shocking revelation.
I believe you should be in full possession of the facts.
I've read the Marburg files.
So have I. I said full possession.
You mean there's more?
Yes, ma'am.
The former King Edward VIII returns to the country after a lengthy absence and seems poised to re-enter Elizabeth's good graces. That changes when documents are unearthed revealing his ties to the Nazi Party.
And there were visits to SS training schools and early versions of the concentration camps. Now, of course, the full horrors were yet to come. Nonetheless, he visited.
It's the kind of information that completely reshapes our understanding of the royal family. David gets his comeuppance, and while it's undeniably tense, it also makes for one of the show's best moments.
The truth. It makes a mockery of even the central tenets of Christianity. There is no possibility of my forgiving you. The question is, how on earth can you forgive yourself?
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.